Hi, Joe Cerrone, and today I'm going to go through Lab 6.5 3D Builder. In this lab, we're going to create this Cubs logo with a positive and a negative. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to download the Cubs logo. And I had some difficulty with this on my initial test run. So what I did was I saved it as a JPEG. And I did that by just using the snipping tool. And then I snipped it and saved it as Cubs logo JPEG. And once we have done that, what I'm going to do, let me save this to my Toshiba drive so it's in the same spot. What we're going to do is we're going to go into 3D Builder, and I'm going to just start a new one. And so I'm going to say new scene. And so here's my new scene. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an image. And so I'm going to say add. And so I'm going to load an image. And I've got my Cubs logo in the display, but just it's the same as if I were to take it from the USB or from my saved file location. I'll open that. And so here's how the Cubs logo will come into 3D Builder. We're going to turn the textures off. And then we're going to adjust the levels until we actually start to see the object. And so that's good enough. I'm going to turn the inverse image to on. And so that's going to be how we convert a JPEG image to a 3D printable file. And it could be a little bit cleaner. It's not as clean as I'd like it to be, but for our purposes today, this is good enough. And so I'll say green check mark. That's my image. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to center it. And so if I click on it, and then I click on the x-axis, I'm going to zero that. And then if I click on the y-axis, I'm going to zero that. And that puts it directly at program 0 for the machine. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, if I can, is to import the solid object for the coin. So I'm going to say add, and then I'm going to add the coin by loading an object. That was the wrong button. Load object. And I'm going to get my coin template. It's an STL file, and I'm going to open that. And so now I have my coin template. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say import the model. And now you can see it's my selection has just the coin. And so I'm going to do the same technique where I center it on 0 so that they're concentric. Here we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my Cubs logo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it so that it fits. And if you scale it from the corner, it'll stay centered. And so I'm going to scale it like that. I'm going to go back to the move command, and then I'm going to pull it up in the Z-axis until I start to see it sticking out. And you can just, decide with your eye. You want enough of it to be removed from the shape. And so that's where that's at. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my object, and I'm going to subtract it from the other object. And so let's see if I can find that. Go back to our insert. Let's see if I have them both. There we are in edit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unselect the Cubs logo, and I'm going to say subtract. I had the wrong one, so I'm going to undo that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the other one, and I'm going to say subtract. There we are. So now we've subtracted the JPEG image, which we converted into a 3D object from our coin base. And then I'm going to save it. And so we'll say File, Save As, and we'll save this as Cubs logo negative. I'm going to call it -2. Now save it. And then I'm going to undo. And then I'm going to delete out the coin base. And I'm going to save it again as Cubs logo positive 2. All right, now that we have those images, what we'll do is we'll bring them into the 3D builder. And you can see I've loaded the negative image. And the negative image doesn't need any special changes. All we've done is set this up with low quality PLA. And we just do that for speed because it'll print relatively quickly. This will print in 36 minutes, which we're running right now. And then what I'll do is I'll delete this one out and I'll load the other part. Cubs logo positive 2, we'll open that. And on this part, what we want to do is we want to adjust the horizontal expansion, and we also want to flip it because we get a nice clean edge on the build side of the build plate. And so what I'll do is I'll click on it and I'll select rotate it. And what I'll do is I'll rotate this 180. I also am not sure if I'm completely on the build plate. It looks like I'm good, so I'm all right with that. I can click on the part and I can move it. It's a little wonky. It seems to have a little extra something that 3D Builder brought in. And I've had this happen before, but it seems to be okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the horizontal expansion. Now, I did create some extra top layers when I did the last job, and that's fine. I think I made it 5. I'm going to back it down to 3, and that's fine. And then as I look at the horizontal expansion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the horizontal expansion to minus 0.2. And what that'll do is it'll shrink it down just enough so that the pieces will kind of pop right in like pieces from a jigsaw puzzle. I'll prepare it. And so that's the Cubs logo. And then we'll save that to our USB and print it. All right. So switching back over to our camera. And I would actually like my other camera. There we are. I'm going to go and show the desktop, my tabletop. And so this was our goal. Our goal was to create this Cubs logo with horizontal expansion so that the pieces would just kind of pop right in there and fit with the lettering. And I only had one color printer when I did this from my house, so it's gray on gray, but our plan here is to print these on the machines. One of them with this color here, and the other one looks like we had a little problem during the interview, so we ran out. It's always something with our 3D printing. And that's our project 6.5. Okay, that ends this video. I'm going to stop and open things up for questions.